Going back to the 1870s, they were building a grand opera house on the corner of East 4th and Euclid. You would know it today as Pickwick and Frolic, the restaurant. So if you've been there, you've been on the grounds of the East 4th Opera House. Interesting to note that the Plain Dealer, the paper of the day, was mocking the project. They said it would never be successful. And you may ask why. Because they said it was too far out in the country. Euclid and East 4th Street. Well, it was successful, and many people who were famous appeared there. From our generation, you'd know the Barrymore family. Drew Barrymore, still around today. But there were two brothers and a sister, the three Barrymores. And if you ever watch the old-time movie channel, as I was the other day, there was Lionel Barrymore in one of the movies. But they started out in plays and then morphed into movies. And John Barrymore, the brother, actually appeared at the old Cleveland Playhouse, which is located next to the Cleveland Clinic. It has since been abandoned and they moved downtown, sadly, in some respects, but I understood the move. But I love the old Cleveland Playhouse. And John Barrymore is in a play in 1929 called Bards of Richard. And that title may not mean much to you, but there's a famous line in that play where King Richard loses his horse in battle. And he holds up his sword and he said, my kingdom for a horse. And for some reason, I was taught that in school, as maybe many of you were. Not the play, but that particular line. So Barrymore is at a sold-out Drury Theater, 800 people. Can't wait for him to deliver that line. Now, one of the things that occurred to me as I got a little older, and maybe like yourself, you kind of sit back once in a while and do a little more thinking and a little more analyzing. And I started analyzing that line, which on the surface seems pretty innocent. What's there to analyze? My kingdom for a horse. Well, King Richard, arguably the most powerful, wealthiest man in all the world, at that moment in time, was willing to give it all up for a horse. And it occurred to me that maybe in this life, I'm not putting my priorities correctly. I'm not giving thanks for the things that I take for granted. My health, for example. I'm so cognizant with making a living, so cognizant of buying this or buying that or going on this vacation or going to this restaurant, that I don't give thanks where it's due. King Richard was willing to give up everything for a horse. Now, I speak to a lot of millennials, and I speak to corporations, and we do a lot of motivational speaking. And we talk about opportunity. And one of the things that I've learned, as I learned in that library 10 years ago, is that opportunity isn't always obvious. And you can't predict when it's going to come along. What you can do is you can prepare for opportunity. I knew I could put a talk together because I was a former school teacher. So that was a learned skill. It was just a matter of adapting it. Let's look at the line again. My kingdom for a horse. And you talk about opportunity. What about the young man that got him a horse? You think his career would be fixed for life? Now, he had to be prepared. It wasn't easy. You had to find a horse. You had to get it to King Richard in battle. You had to get King Richard on the horse and get him out of battle. So that's the preparation. But if someone would have seized the opportunity, I think we would all agree that his career would be set for life. The way it happens. Well, at any rate, the play goes on, 1929. Barrymore's about to deliver the line. The acoustics in the theater are perfect. And lo and behold, a big fella in the front row lets out a big belch. And like yourself, the audience started laughing. And they initially started snickering, and then it became full-blown laughter. And Barrymore was standing there. He might have walked off stage. They would have known the difference. They were so preoccupied with this belch. Well, Barrymore waited, as the professional that he was. He waited, and he waited, and he waited. Finally, the audience calmed down. And as he regrouped, and looked at the audience. He didn't deliver the line as written. He didn't say, my kingdom, for a horse. He said, get a saddle for that horse's ass.